In this video, we're going to look at the challenge problem at the end of the 7.6 classwork. In this problem, we're given the expression 2 over the n plus 1th root of x, and we're told to rationalize the denominator. If you'd like to give this problem a try, pause the video and see if you can figure out the answer. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the answer and then give my walkthrough on how I solved this problem. Okay, so the answer is 2 times the n plus 1th root of x to the power of n all over x. And so how we go about this is we start with our expression. We're going to convert the denominator, the n plus 1th root of x, to fractional exponent form, x to the power of 1 over n plus 1. And the n plus 1, the denominator, comes from the index of the radical, and then the numerator of our fraction just comes from the power that x is being raised to. Next, we're going to multiply by a form of 1. So we're going to multiply by x to the question mark over x to the question mark, some unknown. And that's going to be equivalent to multiplying by 1 and thus not changing our expression. And when we do this, our goal is to get 2 times x to the question mark coming from our numerator, all over x coming from our denominator. And thus our denominator will be rationalized just x to the power of 1. If we zoom in on our denominator, and we just consider x to the power of 1 over n plus 1 times x to the question mark equals x to the power of 1, we can see that our goal is to discover, well, what is this value of the question mark that makes this expression true and turns our denominator into x to the power of 1. And so, using our rule of exponents, base of x and a base of x raised to 2 exponents and being multiplied, we can add the exponents. So we get x to the 1 over n plus 1 plus our question mark equals x to the power of 1. Zooming in on this, we are able to focus solely on the exponents because we have a base to this power equal to the same base to the power of 1. So if we just look at the exponents, we can say that 1 over n plus 1 plus question mark is equal to 1. If we subtract 1 over n plus 1 from both sides, we get the question mark isolated and is equal to 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. So now we've solved for what that unknown question mark is, but we're going to clean it up a little bit. First by turning our 1 into n plus 1 over n plus 1, giving us a common denominator with this other part of the expression. Now that we have a common denominator, we can rewrite adding the two numerators n plus 1 and minus 1. So we get n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. And we can simplify our numerator. Plus 1 and minus 1 gives us 0, so we're left with just n over n plus 1 is equal to question mark. Now let's go back to our expression that we wrote before. We're going to substitute in n over n plus 1 in place of our question marks. Doing this yields the following expression. So here we can see that by multiplying by this form of 1 involving x to the power of n over n plus 1 rationalizes our denominator. To show how this works, we can take this whole equation or this expression and we can focus in, and we can see that from the rule of adding our exponents with common bases, when we have multiplication, we end up with 1 plus n over n plus 1. So we end up with n plus 1 over n plus 1, which we know n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 has to just equal 1. So that's our goal here. That's what we tried to accomplish. Now for our answer, we just convert back into radical form. So the n plus 1, the denominator, becomes the index of our radical, and n becomes the power that x is being raised to. So we get 2 times the n plus 1 root of x to the power of n. all over x, with x being to the power of 1 here, and we have rationalized our denominator. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Thank you for watching.